Today we are going to discuss top 5 reasons that why it is not possible to settle on Mars and why it could be a terrible idea for human beings to try to settle on Mars. So before going into the details, I would like to draw your attention to a well-known experiment of the 20th century. It was called Biosphere 2. It started in 1987 and was built to be an artificial, materially closed ecological system. It was designed to mimic Earth's complex ecosystem. The first experiment started in 1991. 8 people were selected to check the feasibility of space colonization. Among the problems and miscalculations encountered in the first mission were unanticipated condensation, making the desert too wet, population explosions of greenhouse ants and cockroaches. Then there was an injured man who has to leave and then return, carrying new materials inside. So it basically destroyed the whole purpose of the project. Likewise, the project injected oxygen in January 1993 to make up for a failure in the balance of the system that resulted in the amount of oxygen steadily declining. In 1993, the experiment officially closed, and it was a total disaster, and hundreds of millions of dollars and years of planning produced no positive results. Now we have the million-dollar question. If it did not work here on Earth, how will it work in outer space? And this brings us to our today's topic, that it can be a terrible idea to go to Mars. The first reason is that we don't know if our bodies will survive the flight. The time it takes for humans to reach Mars is 9 months, and as of today, no one has been able to recreate Earth's gravity in space. The common image of astronauts flying in the International Space Station might be cool to imagine, but in reality, a microgravity environment can be detrimental to our bodies because the weightlessness makes everything effortless to do. You can imagine lifting a 100-kilogram box as easily as holding a feather. So cool, right? Well, not using any force has a massive consequences. Your muscles can atrophy, your heart weakens, your bone structure crumbles. So in a nutshell, you will end up with the body of an old lady. The second reason is that in case of an issue, help can reach Mars every 2 years. So this is the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge to go to the red planet is the time duration to go there and come back. The window for launch to Mars from Earth only happens approximately every 2 years and 2 months. This means astronauts leaving in 2024 won't be able to get help before 2026 when the next launch window opens and help gets there after the 9 months journey. So you see that 9 months journey. We have to travel 9 months to go to the Mars. This time window makes it even harder by creating a mission of a very long duration which can cause tremendous physical and psychological issues on our astronauts. The third reason for not going to the Mars is that Mars' atmosphere does not protect us from solar and cosmic rays. Mars' atmosphere is only 1% as dense as Earth, and contrary to our dear home, our neighbors does not have a radiation belt to protect us from solar and cosmic rays. The consequence of this lack of protection is a longer exposure to these rays, which are deadly to human body. Astronauts living on Mars would be just to subject to 50 times more radiation than humans living on Earth. The amount of radiation can create dangerous cancers, as we know. The fourth biggest reason is this, that the Mars atmosphere is not breathable. Mars atmosphere being so thin, it does not allow the correct pressure for our lungs to breathe in the oxygen needed. Moreover, it is almost does not contain any oxygen and not enough for us to breathe normally. This forces us humans to recreate a living environment indoors and only go outside with pressurized suits, not the easiest and most comfortable way to live, as we know. The fifth biggest reason is that we will have not figured out how to grow food in space. At the moment, astronauts in the ISS are not able to grow a sufficient amount of food to sustain themselves. Even if some experiments are taking place, every food they eat comes from Earth in a dehydrated or irradiated forms. If a mission to Mars takes place, astronauts won't be able to carry with them the amount of food needed for such a long mission. Therefore, they should learn how to grow their food first. If this is already hard in the spaceship in a microgravity environment, it is even harder on the surface of Mars. Its soil is alkaline and needs decontamination to be used to grow plants, and we are not even sure that will work. So given all these reasons, we are quite sure that it will not be possible for humans to set a civilization or set a colony on Mars so easily.